Have you ever met someone who could walk into a room and instantly make others feel at ease? Someone who seems to always say the right thing, even in moments of tension or conflict? Chances are, they weren't just being charismatic, they were using emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions while recognizing and influencing the emotions of others. And in today's world, EQ has become more important than IQ in determining our success at work, in relationships, and in everyday life. The good news? You can develop it. You can train your mind to notice, manage, and master emotions, just like any other skill. And when you do, it can change everything. So let's begin where all growth starts, with awareness. There was a man named Butch Connor, a surfer, calm, experienced, confident. One day, he headed out early, paddled far beyond the pack to catch waves in peace. Then, it happened. A fin, a great white shark. The moment froze. Fear overtook his body. He panicked. But then, something extraordinary happened. Butch calmed himself. He focused. He became hyper-aware of everything. His breathing, the sun glinting off the shark's fin, the board beneath him. And he made a decision. He fought back. He outmaneuvered the shark, paddled with everything he had, and made it to shore. Butch's survival wasn't about physical strength. It was about mastering fear. That's emotional intelligence in its rawest form. Every day, we encounter our own sharks, stress, criticism, misunderstandings. If we don't learn to manage the internal storm, we get pulled under. But when we become aware of our emotional state, we gain control. We can choose how we respond instead of reacting on autopilot. Self-awareness is the first pillar of EQ. It's noticing your emotional temperature before it boils over. It's realizing you're irritated before you send that harsh email. It's understanding that you're not just tired, you're overwhelmed and need to reset. When you build self-awareness, you catch yourself in the moment. You name the feeling. You observe it like a curious scientist. And just naming an emotion, "I'm anxious right now," starts to take away its power. Then comes self-management. Once you know what you're feeling, what do you do with it? Self-management means not letting temporary emotions dictate permanent decisions. It means creating space between trigger and reaction. We all know what it feels like to be hijacked by our emotions. You yell at a friend, then regret it. You freeze in a meeting, then beat yourself up later. That gap between emotion and behavior is where growth happens. Picture it like this. Emotions are like waves. Some are small and manageable. Others come crashing in unexpectedly. You can't stop the wave, but you can learn to surf. That pause, the breath you take before speaking, the moment you walk away instead of lashing out, that's where self-management lives. When you develop this skill, you don't suppress emotions, you channel them. Anger becomes motivation. Fear becomes focus. Sadness becomes empathy. Next, let's talk about social awareness. This is the ability to tune into others. It's about more than just hearing words. It's listening for tone, reading body language, noticing the shift in energy when someone walks into a room. High social awareness makes you a better communicator, partner, leader. It helps you sense what's not being said. You begin to see not just behavior, but the emotion behind the behavior. Imagine a colleague snaps at you. The reactive thing to do? Snap back. The emotionally intelligent thing to do? Pause and consider. They might be under pressure. That moment of empathy can de-escalate tension and build trust. This leads us to the final component, relationship management. EQ isn't just about managing yourself, it's about managing your relationships. That includes conflict resolution, influence, collaboration, and communication. The strongest relationships aren't perfect. They're emotionally intelligent. They're built on honesty, empathy, boundaries, and mutual respect. So how do you build relationship management? It starts with being present, fully, no distractions, no judgment, just showing up, listening, and responding with intention. Great leaders, parents, friends, they don't avoid hard conversations. They lean into them with empathy and clarity. They understand that emotions are part of every interaction, and they honor that truth. To develop emotional intelligence, you need practical strategies. First, Keep an emotion journal. Each day, note one situation that triggered a strong emotion. What happened? What did you feel? How did you respond? What could you do differently next time? Second, practice the pause. Before responding to emotional triggers, count to 5. Take a breath. Check in with yourself. Third, label your emotions accurately. Instead of just saying, "I'm angry," ask yourself, "Am I feeling rejected, frustrated, embarrassed?" The more precise the label, the more control you gain. Fourth, get feedback. Ask trusted people, "How do I handle stress? How do I show up in conflict?" Others can see our blind spots more clearly. Fifth, observe others. Watch how emotionally intelligent people behave. How do they communicate, manage pressure, handle disagreement? Sixth, lean into discomfort. Growth lives outside your comfort zone. Engage in honest conversations. Admit mistakes. Express vulnerability. These are signs of strength, not weakness. Lastly, practice daily. Emotional intelligence isn't built overnight. It's shaped through small, consistent actions, choosing empathy, practicing patience, managing reactions. And here's what makes EQ powerful. It creates a ripple effect. When you show up with emotional intelligence, you invite others to do the same. You create safer spaces, stronger connections, more meaningful success. Because in the end, people won't remember how smart you were or how much you achieved. They'll remember how you made them feel. So as you move through the world, through work, family, friendships, challenges, carry this truth with you. Your emotions are not your enemy. They're your compass. Learn to read them, and they will guide you to your best self. That's the heart of emotional intelligence, and it just might be the most important journey you ever take.